Good evening, welcome to the Opinion Box. My name is Levi Kones. To join me in a discussion tonight on talks and finances, or finances and talks before the talks, is AMUNGA AKHANYALABANDU. He is a guy
Biro Kelo, one of the people appointed, has been a member of Azimio. He won the election through Azimio ticket, but now he's been appointed to be one of the point that talks from the Kenya Kwanza side. So at times there are those, politics is politics.
Do you really think, in your honest opinion, that the people appointed, because none of them are, really the top leaders in parliament on both sides, is that a suggestion that they are giving a free hand to other members to do these talks, or is it suggestion that maybe they're not taking it very seriously? Actually,
to me, they're not taking it very seriously. You look at the composition of the people who are some of them are first-time MPs, like the senator, the nominated senator, is it SLC? We call her Gloria in our teams. You will notice that she's still, she's not that she's not good or competent. She is competent. But at the end of the day, you discover that we are talking about a person who is young, and you keep wondering and asking yourself, are we really serious? So the question is about the seriousness of the composition of the team. Yes, Boni Khalwale is the chairman of the team from Kenya Kwanza. He's a person who is well known and vast in issues to do with politics and the game of politics. But at the end of the day, again, you look at the boy has been given to serve within that committee. And I think that's why you have seen the Azimio side have said that, okay, before we go for these talks, we want to go back to our Wananchi and also have a discussion with them. Yeah. So they're talking about talks, as you put it, talks before the talks, because they want again to go back to Wananchi maybe in Jivanji Gardens. Then I'm hearing they'll have a meeting in Kamkunji before they go to Kibra on Sunday this week. And from the look of things, and when you read the body language, the people from Azimio are not happy. They are looking for a way again to talk about Mandamano.
Yes. Some have said that the composition and the language, even listening to also Kenya Kwanza,
yes,
we had the deputy president saying, who is Raila?
Yeah.
In the scheme of things.
Yes.
We've heard today the parliamentary group talking about how they can be really seeking advice from the people who mess things up. Yes. But hey, anyway,
yeah,
wacha tuongee tu, I'm paraphrasing.
Yes. Yeah, those are the words.
But basically that's what
yes,
they're trying to say. Is that suggestive that perhaps this is bound to fail? Are we failing before we start? Are the signs there?
Yes. In fact, the failing before we started after the two leaders spoke on Sunday, the day before they stopped Mandamano. First, the president talking about his brother, Raila Odinga. Those are the words he used. He said, I'm reaching out. And he said, even our friends on the other side who have been participating in Mandamano, he called them friends, called them Kenyans. He used a very good language. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, again, Raila also reciprocated by also saying, yes, we have heard what the president said. We will want to form a team and we'll want to look for a way out of this impasse. But now, a few days after that, we saw Raila again say, we can't just have talks in parliament. We want an all-inclusive kind of talk, bring in everybody, bring in the religious leaders. Then again, we heard from the mainstream churches, the Catholics, the Anglicans, the Pentecostals, the churches came up again and said, yes, we want also to be included in the talks. So when you listen to all these people again, you start hearing there was kind of something about the president or the people from the Azimio side taking a lot of their own time now again starting to change goalposts. What we are seeing is changing of goalposts. The spirit in the president and the leader of opposition, Raila Odinga, when they first were calling off Mandamano, the spirit was very good. In fact, everybody congratulated them for it, including the people from American Embassy, you know, and the religious leaders. They all took time, you know, to say, yes, the president has done a good thing. But the more we progress, there is that body language again. When we hear words like, who is Raila Odinga? Raila Odinga has got over 7 million voters who voted for him. You can't really just say, who is he? That's not the language. The language should be what the president used.
And there seems to be quite some exchange of words between him and the deputy president. I mean, we heard him say, you know, I don't want to greet him.
Yes.
The other guy said, hata sitaki hiyo pia.
Hata sitaki handshake yake, hata sitaki mikono yake. I don't want his hands.
And this is before the talks.
The talks have not even begun.
This is when we are saying, you know.
So,
and Mwananchi is looking and saying,
yes. So what I can say almost confidently on this table and in this interview is that I don't really see these talks going anywhere. These talks were for that moment. At least they have given us a week breather or 2 weeks breather. But I want to tell you, these talks are not going to take us anywhere else.
I want to ask you something, an honest question.
Yes.
Do you think even the idea of talks was an idea by them? Or are they under pressure from outside forces to come to this place?
Of course there is pressure. Even the president in his speech said, and I remember it very well, he said, I have been listening even to the religious leaders of this country. That is pressure. When you talk about religious leaders in this country, you talk about the Catholics, you talk about the Anglicans, you talk about a few people, you're talking about people who are commanding a big chunk of this country. If they keep ringing you and telling you, can you reach out to your partner? Can you reach out to your friend? This is pressure. We all know that the senator from the US visited Raila Odinga and met him at his offices, and after a few days we hear he also met the government side. The president was out of the country. And some of us who really follow happiness in this country, even when the president was out of the country, because he was in Belgium, then he was in Germany, we saw Kenyans take to Twitter. And I was so surprised. Kenyans on Twitter are very interesting people. They jammed the Twitter handle of the German chancellor, the current president in Germany. And the Kenyans on Twitter were telling the German president, tell that man to come back and talk to his brother, the country is burning. Tell that Kenyan president whom we are giving a lot of honor there in Germany to come back home. He needs to meet his brother. Those are Kenyans. That is pressure. Pressure in Kenya, I've come to discover, doesn't just come from even the outside world. Kenyans on Twitter alone, Kenyans on social media, that is a big constituency that you can't ignore. Anytime they wake up and start doing something, we have seen things done in this country because of Kenyans on Twitter, Kenyans on media. So to me, what's happening and what I'm saying is, yes, the president was under some pressure. He acted very well. We were very happy with the way he acted. The only question we seem to have is, will he sustain that good? That moment, that was a golden moment. That moment changed things in this country. We wish and pray as observers of this country that the president again can continue that goodwill. Let him sustain it for as long as he can, so that we can go about doing our things. We can go about mending our economy that is in tatters, and do many things that we can do as Kenyans.
Yeah, that would be the best case scenario. I think for everyone.
Yes.
But if you look at the political crystal ball and you say, this doesn't look like it's going anywhere, what do you think will happen? Assuming we fail.
Yes, of course.
First, let me ask you,
yes, please.
If we succeed, what does it mean?
Yes.
Because some people only see a handshake scenario. Some people see maybe a scenario where we are not talking handshake matters. I mean, we've had Azimio say we don't want a handshake. We've had KK say we know you want actually a handshake. And already there's an impasse on that, in that regard.
Yes.
But what does success mean?
Yes.
And then what does failure mean?
Yes. You see, you listen to Kenyans, even on social media or on even those who you hear at least talking about things on Bunge la Wananchi. The issue of handshake is no longer very important even to Kenyans. Actually, what is important to Kenyans right now is how to foot their bills. And success, the question you have asked me, is if the president is able to hold these groups together so that we work on our economy as a team. The president alone, you know, the other day I saw some pictures of the president tilling his land in somewhere in Sugoi or in Uasin-Gishu, which is his home. It's a good thing, it's a good gesture, you know. It shows that the president is leading from the front. But that is not everything. Kenyans didn't elect a president to go and till land or to drive a tractor. That's not what we elected our president for. We elected a president to go and formulate policies that will improve our economy and our agricultural sector. That's why we elected you, Mr. President. We didn't elect you to go to Sugoi and get a tractor and get a cameraman to picture that. So meeting Raila Odinga or any other people in the opposition and working with them, the president has nothing to lose. As a president, when you do that, in fact, you add value to yourself. When you reach out, you add value to your leadership. Reaching out is not just about handshake. It's about making your country friendly. It's not about people shaking hands. It's about people talking about issues.
I hear you. So what does success look like?
So success is when we talk around a table the way we are doing now. In your family, you may not have money. You may not meet the budget. You may not take your children to the best schools in this country.
So you're saying even just the talking?
That talking alone, when you call your wife and your children, and we call it communication. Those of us who go to counseling and those of us who participate in biblical work, you know, communication is the key to everything. There is nothing, even World War I was ended through diplomacy. That is communicating, talking. World War II was ended. Who could imagine that Hitler and the atomic bombs and all those things would stop? They stopped. Mandamano is even nothing, my brother, compared to what was happening in Japan. When the atomic bomb was dropped on a city like Nagasaki and killed millions of people, and the effects of that atomic bomb are still being felt up to today. Amanda Madu is nothing. But what did stopped the World War II? Talks. That's what formed the United Nations. For those people who follow history, I'm a teacher of history. Now the United Nations was formed so that it can reach out to people who are warring, to have a table. It was a platform for people to unite and talk about issues before going to war.
So talk anyway, even if you're not giving us any solutions as to what it will mean.
Yes.
If they talk, just start talking.
Talking is everything.
Okay. What does failure look like?
Failure is when you refuse to talk. Failure is when I pick a microphone and I call you names. I say, who are you? Who do you think you are? What do you think you can do to me? I am the one. That time where you are looking at failure, failure is lacking to communicate. And I like using the example of a family. I normally tell people, I have seen men of my age and beat and clobber their wives. I discovered that fimbo ya kupiga bibi, si fimbo ya maneno na matusi. Kuna fimbo ya kupiga bibi. And as pastors we preach that. Hakuna hiyo, sio hiyo ya kwenda kwa matusi. As a country, we lose it when we chest thumb. We lose it when we show that we are there and everybody else is not there. We lose it when we play the big man syndrome. A servant, and we are called to be servants. A leader is called to servant leadership. You are not called to chest thumb. And so that Sunday, when the president said, I am reaching out, that was success. But when
you could feel the collective relief, by the way, because the following day,
the whole country
was a Mandamano Monday.
But everybody relaxed and went to job.
Yeah,
and the country was
collective relief. Yeah.
So all I'm saying, my brother, failure is lack of talking.
Okay, there is a demand on the table
from
Kenya Kwanza that recognize the president before we talk.
Yes.
There's a demand from Azimio. Open the server before we recognize the president. Already.
Yes.
Tumeshaanza na inatoka headline stand.
The headline stand is not very good. In fact, Azimio is not just talking about the server. One of the things I hear they say, before you have any talks, can the price of unga come to below 100 as you promised?
Oh yeah, in fact they did say can.
Yes, we said we want.
Yes, it must. They must. It must.
Yes. So it's not just the server.
Yeah.
They are talking also about issues like those ones. And you know, those are key issues. To mwananchi in Kibra, to mwananchi back at home in Kumsalaba, Huisero, when they hear a word like unga irudi chini, ndio tuanze kuongea. I want to tell you, hata wajali mambo ya server now after that.
But that's not realistic.
Of course, now that's where politics begins. And that's why talks are important. Let me tell you, my friend, I sometimes have debts of people that I need to have paid. My landlord, my school where my children go. I have a debt. Niko na shida natakana nilipe hiyo deni. And maybe my salary has not come on time. Or the salary delay, like right now actually, some of us, including me, have not been paid. Now, I don't refuse to talk to my landlord. my phone becomes
You
very
open
close
talks.
to me. Because that's the time I send a message to my landlord and say, Bwana landlord, we need to talk.
Yeah.
My salary has
My
delayed.
situation is like this.
Yeah, I'm like this, I'm in a situation, I may not be able to pay you on time. So please, Bwana landlord, give me at least a month or two, or a week or two, I reorganize my finances. If you switch off your phone, or you put your landlord muteja, or you go to social media and you tag him a message and say, wewe landlord, siku zako ziko, utaona cha mtema kwa aliye juu, ushuka chini. Siku moja utarudi chini. Let me tell you, you are looking at failure. Your house will be closed.
I've seen that happen in my own life, by the way.
So
I have a very understanding landlord.
Examples when I'm talking like that.
Yeah.
So when they come to you and tell you, we want bread at 100 shillings. Now you don't go back and also do your hardline stand. Because truly, we, me included, promised Kenyans, tukikula Bible namna hii, tam, unga 100. We said it. I want to tell you the truth. We said it. We didn't know, as regarding Kajagwa puts it, we will find a dilapidated economy.
And I want to come to the issue of the economy just now. In fact, let me look at the time. Yeah, I'm coming there.
Yes.
But I want to finish on the issue of talk, so that
Yes.
when we come to this issue of the economy, because there's much to say
Yes.
about it,
Yeah.
there's much to ask and even converse and
Yeah.
discuss on this issue of talks. Finally,
Yes, please.
now that we are at that point where we have begun with hardline stances, you do remember this happened in, if I put the situation back in 2007, 2008,
Yeah.
when things became too difficult, Kofi Annan went and grabbed the President Mwai Kibaki then,
Yeah.
and Raila Odinga,
Yeah.
and retreated with the two of them,
Yes.
and cut off the entire,
The hardliners.
brigade.
Yeah.
Said, sasa, wacha
Wacha tukae
tuongee
chini.
na hawa wawili.
Yes.
Do you foresee us getting to that place again? And without anyone, now we don't have a referee we have appointed to, head these talks. But do you see them getting to that point? And if they get to that point, do you think they'll get the support of their lieutenants?
Yes, let me tell you. Who would have known at the height of 2007, 2008, post-election violence, that the two leaders would have met somewhere in Sagana or wherever it was, and they would agree, let us have talks.
Yeah. Because yesterday I watched a mother cry for her son.
Yes.
Who was shot.
Yes.
Dead during and she said, you know what, just forget about everything. You guys, just meet the two of you and talk. And it was a very genuine cry. Because that has costed her boy.
Child.
Yeah.
It's a very serious thing.
Yeah.
You can imagine what goes through her mind. And let me tell you, you have asked a very good question. Moi was not stupid. Moi called it talks, called it names like IPPG talks, he calls them cooperation. There'll be cooperation between
NDP and KANU.
Yes, Mwai Kibaki also had a name for it. He called it, those talks, he gave them names. He had to call, as you've put it, he brought in Kofi Annan and others who talked about it. Do you know?
There was a time the word consensus was the big word.
The word consensus was richer consensus.
Yes.
Those were the words. Now, Moi called it cooperation. Now, Uhuru Kenyatta called it handshake. But we don't need to call those names. We can
These
get
ones are
another
just
name.
talks.
We can call it another name now. We have reached a place. We don't need to call it handshake.
Yeah.
We don't need to call it consensus building. We don't need to call it cooperation. Let me put it this way. These talks will have to take place because of the way our system is wired. And as long as this man, Raila Odinga, is still alive, we can't ignore him. That is why when we go to church on a Sunday, those people who take the microphone to speak, anytime you listen, and I know your TV covers this information, listen to one of them. They rarely mention the name Jesus Christ. They don't. They don't even mention God. They mention one name repeatedly every day.
They started with Bwana Yesu asifiwe.
Yes.
And then they continue.
Then they now go to root Raila. Raila huyu, maandamano, mzee wa tendawili. So even them, they are my co-workers. They don't ignore him. It means every single word that Raila speaks, wanaisikia, so that they plan for their next speech. It is like, I knew a friend of mine one time, he's a friend of mine called Mungatana. Mungatana once told us somewhere that sometimes if you want to get mileage politically, and you are maybe say those days you were in Jubilee, and you want to get mileage, and you are a politician, go out there for a rally, call the media, and say Raila. The media will cover you, and once it reaches wherever it goes, expect something in your phone, expect a message. Mulio wa pesa kwa simu yako. So some of these people who do those things, they don't do it for free. They know when they do that, they'll get something. So the president will have to step above them. I have said in this program, the president has nothing to lose when he steps above everybody else and calls the other person and says, let us talk. Yeah. Nothing to lose because he's the president. And Raila, of course, must know. And I like what you quoted about that mother who was crying on TV. Raila must also know, and his hardliners, that the more they take hardline stance, anarchy breeds anarchy.
Yeah, because, let me tell you, these things are, they're stories until they affect you personally.
Yes.
Like, the last time there was Mandamano, it came near my house. And my child was caught up. And I had to run out of here to go and rescue her from her school van.
Yes. To bring
that
her
was
home.
stuck
Somewhere
on Outer Ring Road.
Yes.
And it hits you very hard.
Personally and personally. You may assume ni watoto wa watu wengine.
Yes. And I had even said on Monday, kama kungekuwa na maandamano, no school. I said no more.
Mtoto atoke kwa nyumba.
Because the child is not protected anymore. Akienda shule, how guaranteed are you? And I don't think I'm the only parent who thought like that. There are many parents who had said,
including me, who said here, you are faithful.
Hakuna shule tena.
I can't take my child.
Yes, if you even call it, they call it today.
That is the end. I'm not going. If they say maandamano Monday, that's to me.
And I thought about
going to job.
That child who did not go home.
Yeah.
And that's what, and by the way, it wasn't one.
There are several. Who didn't end up home.
What
do you think their parents were going through? And that's why the president has nothing to lose. And Raila Odinga,
all those businesses that were,
Yes, anarchy breeds anarchy. When you call Mandamano, it may not just be Mandamano. Yeah. People will suffer. Businesses will suffer.
There's a gentleman who lost bikes worth 3 million shillings. Yes. I know him personally.
You can imagine.
He sells near where I live.
Yes, there is a morgue in Kisumu where I put a person personally there, a relative. We have been, because I come from Western, that morgue is a place where we've been taking up because they have good facilities. Those facilities were stolen during Mandamano. Mandamano comes with snakes, comes with everything. It may bring us something, but at the end of the day, also the losses are there. And they are bad. Mandamano is bad.
I think at the back, because you are the one who sits with politicians, at the back of their mind, do they realize that we need to stop this by all means necessary?
Now,
like if we can find a way, that doesn't mean that, okay, I know they have their stories about we don't want a handshake, we don't want Nusmukate and all that, but let's find a way to stop it.
That is the thing. And that's what happened on Sunday. That golden Sunday, my brother. The relief we got, my own child had said, I'm not going to school. You're talking about Outer Ring. That Mandamano was in my village, in my
estate. It passed in your estate, I saw.
It passed through me. And my child who works in a place, who goes to a school next to that Mandamano, they had to close the school, do everything that afternoon. And parents were panicking everywhere. You can imagine when tear gas fills your estate. If you're not aware, a child died of choking from tear gas.
I can imagine.
A child died in Tasha Feather. So all these things, my brother, they come with anarchy. They are not good. That tear gas is being lobbied. You may see it on TV and think you're watching a Hollywood movie. It's not a Hollywood movie. It is reality. My friend get choked up one day with tear gas. I was working at NAT headquarters when tear gas was thrown at us at the NAT headquarters. I choked. I was almost hospitalized that day. Now imagine a child who is around 4 months, ajui ni nini, na hiyo moshi inaingia, na ajui vile naitoa, na hiyo macho sasa imekuwa hivyo. You can imagine what goes through those people in Madari, in Kibra, in Tasha Estate, when the tear gases are now being thrown in their homes.
It's a very painful way to go.
Tuache maandamano. If I was the president, I'll step up. I have nothing to lose. Going to tell Raila, oh, ndugu yangu, call him that name, ndugu yangu. Those things, you will save us as a country. You will save our life, Mr. President. That's what you did on Sunday. You saved lives by just making sure that Mandamano and Raila Odinga should also be compassionate enough to us. I wish those Mandamanos were not brought to the estates. When it comes to estates, it hits closer to most of us. I wish there was another thing that could be done. I wish it was like South Africa, where Mandamano people are even escorted by policemen. And they even wear a uniform. And they march through the streets singing songs of national songs. And they go back to their houses. But you see, in Kenya, we can't reach that level. Our Mandamano is chaos. That is where now we who are sober enough will call on the president and the leader of opposition, step up and talk.
Step up and talk. I want us to take a break, and then when we come back, we continue. By the way, before we take a break, let me ask you. Eric Omondi has been andamanaring. one man maandamano, but yes, he always gets caught. Your thoughts before you go on the break. You know, and you saw him really lamenting.
I saw him. He's always arrested. He's always, now he must be having almost 50 cases in court. Eric is doing a good thing. You know what? Not a good thing, but Eric is keeping his followers. He has fans. You know, he's one of these people on social media who is followed heavily. For him, it's not just about maandamano.
You think no one takes him seriously?
No. His followers take him seriously. There's something called cloud chasing in this country. People who do cloud chasing are also benefiting. They have their way of also earning something. We have seen this government appoint people jobs who are just cloud chasers. The people who just sing on TikTok. We saw this lady who just dances on TikTok. She was appointed by the Babu Namwamba to be one of the people in talent search.
And there was a hue and cry, yes.
Yeah, people ask questions. So chasing clouds is not a bad thing. For Eric Omondi to do what he's doing, he knows.
And after wafuasi, according to you.
That's what I'm saying. And wafuasi in Kenya is very important.
We'll take a break on that note. When we come back, let's talk about the finances. Don't go away.
Japo tuna tofauti,
kila moja wetu ana sauti. Stop the bus. Tuinuane,
ushirikiano wetu.
Tuinuane,
na ukaribu wetu.
tuinuane, tuinuane. Tuko pamoja maishani. Tuinuane,
Tuko pamoja maishani, tuinuane.
Oh, you're here. I'm going to quote it. You're going to take your oxtail and then you're going to brown it.
Making a difference.
We did not have water. Hatukuwa able to sterilize equipment. Many students didn't get the chance to interact with the computers.
It takes a single idea, a single decision to do better, to be better. But what does it take to make a change? At Safaricom Foundation, we believe it takes passion, love, dedication, and Kenyans to build a better future. We partner with communities across all 47 counties by advancing education, by enhancing healthcare, by supporting economic opportunities. We partner with people through the values we share, the people who inspire us, and the lives we continue to touch. Because when we unite, there's nothing we can't do.
To soothe irritated and dry skin, Vaseline's healing power is able to penetrate beneath the surface of the skin. This is because Vaseline is made with unique blends of waxes and oils that melt into the spaces between skin cells. This promotes natural moisture regulation to deliver effective skin protection against dryness. Use Vaseline because it is the first step to maintaining natural, healthy-looking skin.
Karibu sana. Are you ready?
I'm here for the tea, honey. Yeah.
And welcome back to the Opinion Box. My name is Levi Kones. We are here with AMUNGA AKHANYALABANDU. He is a governance and policy expert talking to us about matters, finances, and talks. And talks before the talks. And talks before the talks, before the talks, and after the talks.
Yeah.
Imambo ya talks kwanza it's like a rap music video.
Yeah.
We are in the talks.
Then now you're talking.
Let's talk about finances.
Yes.
Because that's a big issue right now. And we are hearing voices from government, and they're kind of speaking different things.
Yeah.
We hear the Deputy President talking about how we have found the coffers empty. And says the handshake ruined the story.
Yeah.
You know? We hear about debt repayment and how they are servicing debt. We've had actually people come out from government to talk about the issues to do with government, at least 4 different places. Murkomen said something about it, CS. Ndindi Nyoro said something about it. The Deputy President said something about it. The President himself has been forced to talk today about it. And we've, of course, had Devindi, both on the newspaper, on tweets, and even on media stations, giving interviews, saying different things. Now, one of the things that seems to be at the forefront of this story is Wananchi are asking. They're asking on Twitter, they're asking on Facebook, they're asking, okay, so the coffers were empty.
Yes.
How come we got 50 CASs?
Yeah.
You know, why does the House not look like it is tightening its belts?
Yes.
You know, how many people, if David D had not probably said what he said yesterday, I guess it would have been a story too going on. But there was David D also saying, you know, he also gets frustrated with the expenditure. Yes.
You see,
where are we, bro? Where are we?
I have to talk about it. David D and myself, we are in the same WhatsApp group because during the campaigns we were working together for the current government, and we were among the poor weaving the narrative. And after he was on TV last night, I just recall one person, one of our admins.
Must have lit up, eh?
Yeah, they had to remove him from that WhatsApp group because one of our admins was like, this gentleman is an advisor to the president. He's not a communication expert. He should not go on TV. How did he end up on TV? Who approved he's going to on TV? You know, those are the questions that were on that group. But he answered himself and said, guys, sometimes you have to be in the kitchen to know the level of the heat in that kitchen. But if you are somewhere with your phone writing about me, you may just write what you want. Sometimes when we are in the kitchen, we know what's happening. When we go out there, we are just venting out. I thought he answered us so well. There is a lesson, those people who have done economics, it's called Economics 101.
Yeah.
It says, wealth is not made or created through inheritance. Wealth is created via hard work and smart responses to opportunities. Wealth is not created by what you inherit from your father and your mother, or what you inherit from a country. When you hear our friends going every time to churches and everywhere they go, and they keep on saying, we found empty coffers.
Yeah.
The question is, that was you found.
And it costs money to go to those churches.
Yes. But the question is, and what have you made for us after that time? After this, in the 7 months that you have been in power, what can you show us that I have done? When I give you an opportunity, you don't come up and say, I found nothing. Most of us who are hustlers like me, we found nothing. Me, I found my coffers were empty. My father would not even qualify to be a grave digger in Huisero.
Me too.
So whatever
no inheritance.
Nothing I inherited. I inherited nothing, my brother. Yeah. Apart from community land, which can be taken away from me anytime by the community. I have got nothing from my father. Education, I was helped by missionaries and other people to help me go to school. So what I can say is this. Many of us found empty coffers.
There's a constituency that's getting increasingly exasperated.
Yes.
With that particular narrative.
Yes.
Of, you know, the last regime.
Yeah.
The last regime.
Yes.
1 month, 2 months, it was okay. You're just coming. 3 months, maybe. We are running almost into the 7th month.
We're going to a year. Very soon it will be a year.
Yeah. And we are still talking about what the last regime did.
It is the worst mistake.
When does it stop?
It has to stop. We who advise, who sit back and advise, have already advised. I personally at least talked to at least one person who is in government. My friend Musalia Mudavadi, the Prime CS. And if you listen to the Prime CS, never will you ever hear him refer to the last regime. Never. Musalia talks about what is at hand and what we can do. Today, the president was the host of the president today. And he talked about performance contracting. And he talked about how he was young people below 35 years of age to perform well in the public sector so they can be rewarded. That is where we need to be. We need to stop always looking at the mirror to see behind. That mirror in your car which shows you behind. We need to stop every time. We must reach a place now and say, yes, we found empty coffers, but what can we do about it? And if we found empty coffers and we are worried about what really happened, then you know what you need to do? Arrest those people who stole from us.
That is what I was coming to next.
Arrest them.
That's the next story.
And let them now pay for what they did.
That narrative.
But if you cannot arrest them and you keep coming to us.
But what's the problem, Amunga? Because you see, that story is always followed by that question in many of our minds, and also people are beginning to ask a lot. If you look at especially on the trends, especially on Twitter, you'll find it now more often than usual. People say, okay, fine. The guys that you're accusing, are they not in Kenya?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The last regime, practically everyone is here. If Bunny left, and it was taken to, I don't know, Cayman Islands.
It came through choppers from Wilson Airport.
Yes, or wherever it was going to. Why are we not seeing any move to bring the money back?
Yes.
Are we saying we've given up on those guys? Another question I should ask you is this. Do you feel like when it comes to matter finances, we are listening to too many people from government about the same issue?
Very good question. I want to say this. Actually, we are listening to too many cooks, they spoil the broth. The issue about economics and finances, you don't talk a lot. Mwai Kibaki got it right. We were told that it took 3 years. Okay, whatever time it took to get us back on track. Mwai Kibaki talked less. In fact, he reached a place, one time, his wife had to get him out of the house to say something. Because the wife thought, this man is not talking. Let me tell you, when you are a person, my father, one of my relatives was an accountant. He never used to talk when he comes to the house. You'll always see him with a newspaper and a calculator. Those days there were no computers. People who deal with finances don't talk much.
Yeah, look at school bazaars.
Look at the school bazaar. You don't expect the bazaar to come to the assembly to announce, this and that. He doesn't play politics with money because money and statistics don't lie. Statistics will never lie. We have reached a place as a country. You know, somebody was breaking it down for us. When you go somewhere and say that money was cutted out of the treasury, 24 billion shillings, taken to the airport, Wilson Airport, and taken to people's homes. Then we started calculating as people do statistics. 1 billion shillings to carry, let me tell you, Levi Kones, I can't leave this building with 1 billion shillings. Because 1 billion shillings, even if it's 1,000 notes, is 7 tons, is 2 tons. It's 3.5 tons. 2 billion is 7 tons. If I have to carry 1 billion, I need a good pickup. I need a pickup parked outside here to carry 1 billion. What about 24 billion shillings? Can you ask yourself how many trucks you need to take that kind of money to Wilson Airport? Now, a good chopper, my friend Musalia Mudavadi has a chopper, and at least I've ridden in a chopper. A chopper can only carry, a good chopper, military chopper, cannot exceed 1 ton of luggage.
That includes passengers.
That includes passengers. Now, imagine a chopper carrying or ferrying money, billions of shillings in cash. So that kind of politics and that kind of talk can only impress a layman. It can't impress a person who uses statistics. Because with statistics, you can't ferry 24 billion shillings from one building to another, and it's not even kept there. I want to say this. We now must stop propaganda. That propaganda was good for us when we were campaigning. If I stood on a podium and I told people how watu walibeba 24 billion kwa gari wakapeleka kwa nyumba zao wakakula, in campaign, that's allowed. But now when I am in charge, and I was telling, for example, my friend Wilson Sosion. Wilson Sosion appears on TV like this one of yours. And every time he appears, he talks about how Uhuru Kenyatta was this and did that. I told my friend Wilson, stop that now. You are now a CAS. You are among these 50 CAS people are blasting every time that you are appointed. Now your work as a CAS is no longer to talk about Uhuru Kenyatta and what he did 10 years ago or 1 year ago. Now talk about what your government, which you sit in as a CAS, can do for this country. Kenyans are no longer waiting for talks. We are tired. Na mtu anasema wa Kenya si wajinga bwana. There is somebody who says that on Twitter. Wa Kenya si wajinga. The president himself said it many times. You cannot keep going to media to tell Kenyans that I found empty coffers every year, year in, year out. Public servants must be paid. They must be paid. County governments must get their money, if not possible this week, next week. Because I want to tell you this, Levy. If county governments will not receive money, the other week, I am in the labor sector, nurses and doctors are going on strike. And they have told us we are not even calling the 21-day strike notice. We will just down our tools now.
Until all dues.
Until all our dues are paid, we are not going to attend to any doctor, any patient. When you start hearing those war cries from trade unions, be very, very afraid.
Do you think
universities like Egerton have closed down?
Yeah, but do you think, like, financially speaking, would it be too much information to sit down and then just tabulate?
That is what we need. We need
and say, you know, guys, this is what's happening. This is what we are getting. This is what we are spending. This is how it looks like with what we found not there. This is what we are doing about it, you know, to try and get it back. And this is our current, you know, financial situation. I mean, if Kenya is one big country, and I think a lot of us are concerned when we walk around, a lot of, you know, when you hear about salaries not being there, you kind of panic because you know it's going to cascade down.
Of course.
Even if you work for a private company like this one, you know that that's not too far from your bread and butter. You can't lay your head at night and tell yourself all is well.
That's true.
Because same government is the one mostly that does advertising.
Of course.
Same government is the one that gives us concessions for various things. It cascades down. It touches us, we like it or not. So everyone is now, you know, you look, and there are people, okay, who say they don't like politics, they don't watch politics, but very soon, and I was saying somebody, all of us will have to start talking about politics if we do not change the trajectory.
President Moi, the late president, said, siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya. Siasa mzuri, maisha mzuri. We can't run away from politics. And the middle class had been cushioned because of Kibaki. Mwai Kibaki, when he came in and he looked like a person who can do it, he cushioned the middle class. Because he made us to borrow loans, we were able to buy our cars, we were able to buy houses. Some of us here in Nairobi were able to buy phones. Phones were for the elite those days. But phones now are coming. These border bicycles you see or motorcycles you see, they were, one motorcycle used to be 500,000. They were not there. So Mwai Kibaki brought these things down. And we in the middle class, we now sat back and relaxed. The people are talking about who are going to be affected by these salary delays are the middle class. And as you put it clearly, if somebody in the county government has not earned for 3-4 months, he can't buy airtime to talk on Safaricom and or buy bundles to watch what AMUNGA is saying today on Opinion Box. He will not be able to do it.
Or fiber here.
Or the fiber which we sell in this building. He will not be able to pay for his bills. So when he stops doing that, it comes down to you and me who are in media. All of us finally get affected. What we are therefore saying is this. All of us who are in the middle class now have to listen. That's why David Ndi's talk yesterday on TV has attracted so much talk, because David Ndi is a middle class person. So when he talks, he's not seen like a politician.
Yeah, I was very sleepy, even me. I was like, okay, I need to watch this thing. Because
Yes, you see to the trends today, David Ndi has been trending #1 on Twitter the whole day. Reason is, he talked to the middle class. When he said he gets he gets disgusted by the way government can waste. That thing we talk about 50 CSs. When you talk about, and it goes to the paper, nobody comes out to deny that the 3 top officers in this government got something billions to buy new cars and to refurbish the offices. And nobody from government comes out and says, no, it's not true, or this money is not. And Kenyans read. That is where the problem comes. We must tabulate these figures as a government. We must, those talks you're talking about, talking to Raila Odinga, it's not going to be about opening the server anymore. Those talks are going to go down to now paying people their salaries.
Some are saying wait until the budget. This government has not read its own budget.
Of course.
And the budget, you know, we are looking at now, we are about 7 weeks away from a Kenya Kwanza budget. Is it too far? Too near?
The budget, you cannot even talk about this government waiting for the budget. David Ndi told us, and we all know, those of us who are in this country, we have inherited a debt. That debt, the interest alone, I'm not talking about the debt itself, is 950 billion daily. I'm not talking about monthly, daily. And when you hear the Kenya shilling has devalued with the US dollar, that one is even more bad for all of us. Because you borrowed
Because
this
that
money.
debt is going, yeah.
You borrowed this money when the shilling to the dollar was 110.
Yeah.
Now the dollar is 140.
Yeah.
That still comes back down to us.
It's like owing money to a loan shark.
Yes, your loan ni kama kwa Shylock.
Unapanda tu mlima.
Every single day that we are living in this country, every time we go to bed. And I heard somebody saying that I'm seeing like some of the leaders in Kenya Kwanza are getting thinner and thinner. My friend, you can't get fat. You may see them just stamp on TV. You may see Kimani Chungwa talk big. But my brother, the moment you have a debt that accrues 950 billion a day, hata kama wewe ni nani, hata kama uko na tourists wangapi wanakuja hii Kenya, hata kama una collect revenue inatoshana namna gani, you can't sleep. And so our government is to come down and now say, now what do we talk about our lenders? How do we tackle our lenders now? What are we going to do as a country? We have to stop. Muhammad Namano is nothing, my brother.
I don't think Amunga people really have the debt is there, and guys know the debt is there. You know, when the deni kubwa iko and the family knows kuna deni kubwa,
yes,
the entire family knows. So what happens is everyone readjusts. If it is in your home, there's no way you are going to be eating meat every day.
You can't.
You would say maybe let's have githeri, let's have mboga here.
And you carry it forward.
Let's see how we balance ourselves. I think Kenyans want to see that. They want to see the mboga and the githeri. You know.
Yes.
They want to see us do something that suggests that we are under pressure financially. Yeah. Not you're under pressure financially, but you can get new vehicles. We almost want to ask, so where are the old vehicles?
Yes, where did they go?
You know, where did they go? What was wrong with the old offices and the way they were? I mean, ministers were in those offices, weren't they?
Yeah.
If we refurbish them to the tune of, X amount, millions of shillings, what exactly are we changing? Because usually if an office like this one, you walk into this office and you want to change a few things, maybe you won't tear up the whole floor.
You don't tear up everything.
You know.
So, and that's where you are driving the very important point.
Those austerity measures.
There's austerity measures.
Yes.
Those ones, only one leader has been able to do that in this country. That was Mwai Kibaki. I was a teacher at Kakamega School and we were very good in drama. I'm giving that as an example as I finish because I know you'll want to tell me to say my last points.
I will, yeah, we are getting there.
Now, when we went to State House with a good play, we were used to the Moi days. When we'll arrive at State House with a good drama and the president is happy, some of us will be flown back home, we'll be given something to go back as a teacher, we'll get something in my pocket. And we were given everything. The children will eat a cow, they'll eat well. Then we went when Mwai Kibaki was now president. And Mwai Kibaki had announced that those austerity measures. Yes, he had announced them. So when we arrived and we had performed, we thought there'll be something coming from Mwai Kibaki to us to carry home and some money to be given to us kama ya kurudisha mkono. Kibaki gave us tea and bread. There was no nyama, there was nothing. Bread, 2 slices counted. Na kasema Mungu awabariki sana, tuonane tena next year. That's when we discovered what it means when you want to.
And you were upset, I'm sure.
That day we were very annoyed. Today, anybody who wants to go to State House, even when you see sometimes, there was a video trending where one of the good pastors in this country was visiting State House.
I saw that video.
Yes, he just entered without anything. But when he left with a brown envelope. That picture
and people speculated.
Yes, where did this brown envelope come back from? Because he entered with nothing.
Yeah.
But he left with a fat brown envelope and he took pictures. That is now the question today.
Alikuwa beba golden bells. Alipewa apelekee mtu.
Oh, alipewa golden bells. Now, they are never given in State House. Golden bells are not given in State House. But you see, that picture spoke volumes.
Yeah.
That some of us, and we have seen the budgets come out, that right now there has been a lot of money being spent in the 3 big offices in terms of entertainment, in terms of refurbishment, in terms of new cars. That is where you begin. The buck stops with the president. If the president wants Amunga to eat githeri in his house today, he can make me do it. By saying, Amunga, I'm also eating githeri. I am driving a car that has got the volume, they call it the CC capacity, that is this much. But if I see today, the Prime Minister arrives in Mululu, where I come from maybe, and when I see choppers come, 2 military choppers, then he follows 3 choppers land.
I saw a CS with 6 chase cars.
Yes. There's a CS who was talked about.
Remember I told you?
Yes, it was everywhere.
6 chase cars.
Yes, 6 chase cars. And we saw another CS yesterday arrive at a wedding. There was a very famous wedding yesterday, if you are not aware.
Yeah.
I hope you read the trends. And one of the CSs arrived with 3 chase cars. And after she arrived, it was a lady, sorry, and I will name names. After this CS arrived, she went to give as a reward to this lady whose wedding is a socialite. And when she went to give her present, she gave her a chain, a money chain, a cash chain. We are told that it cost 500,000.
I wondered what the message was.
That is the question.
Yeah, that's a question. Even I wondered about that.
Because if as a CS, we are saying that we don't have money, we don't have this, we are trying to cut down on our budgets. But I go to a wedding of a socialite, not a hustler. A person who is wedding a Muzungu and a person who has all the money and having a wedding in the gardens of Windsor Hotel. And I go to that wedding as a CS and I give that person a chain of money around her neck. What message am I sending to my people back in Humsalaba? The people have slept hungry tonight. What message as a CS am I giving the people in Kenya who are watching me on TV? Because as a CS, when you do that, everybody's watching you. They want to see what is the CS saying and doing. That is where our president, and that's why David Ndii last night said, I am desperate when I watch the wastefulness in our government.
The thing as we close is, you don't stop being a CS because it's a weekend. We still see you as one.
You are still a CS.
On a holiday at night.
You're still a CS.
You don't, there's some
public positions where you don't.
You no longer get to delink yourself from the position. I mean, if I walk out today, I'm still a presenter here at KASS.
Yeah, we just know you as
doesn't matter what I do on Sunday.
Even when you go to church, your pastor
if I do something crazy, they will write that KASS TV guy. Yeah, So in the same manner, and maybe that message needs to sink.
The message is this. Ladies and gentlemen, if we are, as a country, we have reached a place we feel that we want to help our country, it starts with us. They used to say your security starts with you. It's no longer about security nowadays. It's about the economy. The economy starts with us. It is worse if you are a leader. You as a leader, you must start showing we as Kenyans that you are actually economizing. When you start behaving and working in a manner to show that you want us to reach economic prosperity, we as Kenyans will follow suit. That's the message tonight.
That's the message. Thank you, bro. We keep talking, and we'll keep having the talks before the talks, and even after the talks.
And after the talk.
Let's see what happens this week. We'll talk next week and see what's up. That's Opinion Box for tonight. AMUNGA AKHANYALABANDU, governance and policy expert, and myself saying good night. See you next week.